chair. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Alright, welcome to our fourth installment of MangaBuds.
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
We're still working on the opening, so...
Yeah, still clunky, but we're here. We're here for y'all.
Fourth time in a row, so if any of y'all are still tuned in, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, once again, we just want to shout out Manga Stream for giving us all of our chapter information. Go there.
Yeah,
really simple and easy.
Check them out. It's always updating on Thursday or Friday. They're punctual. All their stuff is clean, well translated. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, good art styles. But so for this week, there's no Fairy Tail anymore.
Yeah.
One Piece is still on a hiatus, and no more Attack on Titan until probably another couple weeks since it's about to be August. But so this week we're going to be with My Hero Academia, The Promised Neverland, Seven Deadly Sins, and Dr. Stone.
Got some good chapters this week.
We got some pretty good ones. They went for 4. Each one is pretty in detail, so we hope y'all enjoy it. So. Yeah. The first one is the My Hero Academia chapter 147, which now we're finally finished with the Red Riot and Fat Gun and all.
So we're gonna move back to the present with Night Eye Squad, which has Night Eye, Midoriya,
Lock Rock, and I think that's all the important people.
Yeah, that's the heroes.
And Eraserhead.
And Eraser, yeah.
Oh, I was But so they continue down the corridor. The corridor starts to smash them in by one of the 8 precepts the manager actually Mimic or Joey, whichever one you like. Starts to crush them in. They use Lockrock's quirk Deadbolt, which he can lock things in place, but only so many at so many points.
Yeah. So
he can't stop all of the rocks from coming. So before they get crushed, Midoriya uses his quirk to smash a hole in to keep going, and he is almost reassuring, we need to not give up, not stop, because there's a little girl in danger. The little girl
he's just kind of remembering his motivation
to do it. And then at that point the room opens up and they start to question it, and that's when they get split off into 3. Eraserhead with Midoriya, Lockrock's by himself, and then Night Eye is with the police group still.
So we get the reason why they split off is because Mimic his power to be able to work the earth.
It's almost like the concrete hero. I forgot his name though.
Yeah, but he's able to work it, but he takes an immense amount of strain on his body because he has to kind of stay flexed in a position to keep that area still. But because because the heroes in Lockrock has been able to keep him still, he's been kind of flexed in a position for a really long time. So we can imagine that he's been cramping up for a while.
He's probably in a very tight situation. So he finally was able to open up and give him a break, I guess, is the whole point of this. So he then closes them off, and Lockrock gets attacked by none other than Toga, who, before this chapter, I didn't think she'd actually be this serious of a threat. But she
appears behind him almost unconsciously.
With her ability from the that hero arc, the hero registration arc, so she has the ability to disappear from sight just by without thinking about, like you said, just pure instinct.
So she just comes in. She goes to stab Lockrock, but he turns around and sees it and stops it with his hand.
He catches the knife with his hand. It goes through his hand, and
he uses his quirk to lock it down and.
It's funny, before he punches her too. Yeah, he uses quirk to lock the knife in place so she can't get it out of his hand to attack again. So he's about to punch her, but he even says the League, so he knows that she's part of the League of Supervillains, part of Shigaraki's group. But before he's able to punch her, she disappears. And from what the page looks like, it almost seems like she uses her quirk, because if you look at what he punches, it
kind of liquefies, and then she appears right behind him again.
So that makes me think maybe she's able to use her power to make other things look like him if she has the blood.
Yeah, kind of she duplicates herself and
maybe it isn't really well explained. So she ends up behind him. She's got her hand over his mouth with another knife. I don't know how she got it. I thought the knife was locked in place, but she might have more though. So she tells him to be quiet, and then before we get to see what happens to him, we go to Eraserhead and Midoriya. They hear the commotion, and Midoriya breaks the wall between them, and they see 2 Lockrocks, which we know one is Toga, using her quirk to imitate him, but we don't know initially which one. And Iwaza goes to look at Lockrock when he notices the knife wound. The one that's fallen, not the one that's talking to Midoriya right now. So he's talking to the one with Midoriya. Midoriya's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, but we need to move him. We need to move and get out of here." And right at that point, Toga's goes to stab him, but Eraserhead uses his quirk to erase her camouflage.
Yeah.
And so we see Toga with her.
It's a huge it's a huge panel that takes up most of the page. And it's just like Toga's face, like she's really
so happy to see Midoriya, and even he recognizes her.
Yeah, and she's like, "Yes, it's Toga. You remembered. I'm so happy. You made me so happy. I'm gonna stab you multiple times."
She's like, "I'm so happy. Now let me stab you with this knife real quick." But before she's able to do that, Eraserhead uses his scarf to like wrap it around her and pull her back. Mm-hmm. But since Toga's a lot like more nimble than we thought, she uses the scarf to then
kind of flip back, turn around, and like stab him.
And this is in midair too. Like this isn't like some little like trick. Like she's in midair, uses the scarf to then like give her some momentum, stabs him in the shoulder, and then lands on the ground.
He's like kind of rolls away, takes everything else. So like at this point she's naked, but she rolls away. The wall kind of closes down on her, so she's well hidden.
So she's hidden from them, and she's with all of her gear and her clothes and everything, and she just makes the comment that she's glad that she's part of that she took this job.
Yeah.
But before that, I just remembered that Eraserhead like makes a little comment right there where he's just like, now we know that the League of Villains and the Yakuza are together, so we need to change up our strategy.
Yeah.
Since now they know that both of them are here, so I assume they're just scared that Shigaraki's somewhere nearby with his quirk.
Yeah,
so the next panel we get to see Shigaraki and Overhaul having a shogi match. Shigaraki has never played shogi, so he's just like, what is this shit? Why are we playing this?
And he's known to be a very impatient, kind of very like, let's do things now. So shogi's not the type of game for him. Because shogi takes like chess. It takes a lot of planning and patience and
and Overhaul makes the comment that he likes shogi because the pieces you take, you can turn them to your advantage. And so then he tells Shigaraki like, let me use some of your people to help me with my thing. He's just like, whatever. And Shigaraki goes, you know what, whatever, we're friends. We can work together, take them.
Yeah, and then he makes the point that like they need to build trust, so they need to be able to kind of interchange between each other, which will build trust within the Yakuza and the League of Villains.
Yeah,
it's very important.
The next panel we get to see with Night Eye's group and the police with what was the guy?
Twice.
His name is Twice, and the guy from the beginning who punched the door down, I think.
Yes.
I think that was him. It looks like him, and a big guy behind Twice like has his fist hurling at Night Eye.
It looks a little bit like Rappa, but I don't want to. I'm sure it's not because Rappa's still recovering. His arms are still broken, but like his. He's kind of like built the same, got big fists.
He's a lot bigger though.
Yeah, he's much
like
bigger.
Twice as big. So we see that it ends with the comment, not the comment, but the next chapter, Sir versus Twice. So
we get to finally see Sir Night Eye in action, which is something that I've personally been looking forward to because like we've seen him from an intel standpoint, and he uses his power very well to kind of predict where the enemy's going to go and stuff like that. So I just want to see him in combat.
I mean, this is All Might's apprentice. This is his sidekick. So he has to have something up his sleeve.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I'm excited for that.
So I'm assuming, and we don't know much about Twice, but assuming from his name and just even the stance he takes in this chapter, he seems like a very flamboyant, like out there kind of guy. I want to make the prediction that maybe his ability, since his name is Twice, he has the ability to like clone himself perfectly, but just to two. Yeah. But they're like perfect clones of himself. Yeah. It's not like the other hero who has ectoplasm, who can like multiply a bunch of himself. So I want to think it's that. I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah. Maybe he's like really skilled in hand-to-hand combat and like can use his power that you said. Yeah.
Because, I mean, that would also fuck with Sir's ability, because I don't know how far he can, like, see both of them attacking him at once, maybe.
And, like, probably,
on top of the big guy behind them. He was just hurling a fist at him.
Yeah, so they might corner him. This is all speculation, but they might, like, corner him because, like, they're just doing too much for him to be able to predict.
But then I also think that since it was so easy for Midoriya and them to break down the wall to get to Lockrock, I'm assuming they'll make an entrance, too, because I'm pretty sure Midoriya can break down that wall, too, which... Hopefully, either that or they're going to try to, and then Sir's going to be like, no, go on ahead, remember the mission. We can take care of this guy, which we'll get then another drawn-out fight, DBZ style.
That'd be dope.
So that was My Hero 147. Not a very talkative chapter. It was more of an action chapter, I would say. So it's a little bit shorter, but it was still really good.
Yeah, really, it's set up for the next few chapters going forward. So got to fight. We got to fight. We got Midoriya's group probably coming in and heading out for
the next group of. We still also have to see what's up with Uruka, Froppy, and the second hero.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happened to them yet, so I'm hoping before that they show what happened to them.
Mm.
So, next up is Promised Neverland, chapter 49, which is actually a very good chapter this week. At least the ending was, which we're not going to spoil it yet until the very end, but super, super good chapter. It starts with all the group eating in a circle.
Yeah, so they're eating Ray's cooking. Ray's learned to cook from Musica, and like they're just like, "Oh, your stuff is so good. How'd you make this?" And he's like, "It's called cooking. I learned basically mimicked what Musica did." And
Musica and Sungwoo have been teaching them, like what herbs are medical and what aren't. What food they can make out of like the plant life around them, because they don't know the vegetation of the demon world.
Yeah,
they're not used to it. And I think next up was that Emma with the bow. Emma is trying. We see that Emma's actually a very skilled archer. After training a while, she can hit a target dead center.
Yeah, it's only been like 3 days too, so like they're
very quick. But I mean, Emma and Ray are geniuses. We know from the plantation, they're the geniuses of the group.
So like before that, it shows a little bit of flashback. So like they're going over a map with Musica and Sungwoo, and they on the map you see that the location that they want to go through. Where they're actually really close to it, but if they take that path that they're going to, like the straight on path, they're going to run into wild demon territory. So they're going to be facing more and more of those demons that they faced in chapters before. So what Sungwoo suggests to them is that they go to go north, but then like cut down south, and then that way that's like the safest way to go, because like no demon settlements are there, and they'll be able to. It'll take a lot longer.
Yeah, it's a long way around, but it's safer since Sungwoo and Musica won't be with them any longer.
Exactly. Which
is funny because like a few chapters ago, I even expected, I was like, I think we're gonna see the end of them, but they've really been like kind of like playing it out with Sungwoo and Musica. But I'm assuming either next chapter or the second from next after this one. I think they're gonna finally either like leave, or I even think the other demons will catch up and might even kill them. Yeah, I feel like something has to happen.
Hey, they might like kind of sacrifice themselves to give them a head start, kind of like.
I mean, sacrifice. I mean, Sungwoo's the only one that can really fight. Musica's more of just the helping hand. Like I feel like it's more of the dichotomy of Sungwoo's the warrior, Musica's like the house mother. Like she can cook and all that stuff. So
she takes care of him, and he protects her.
Takes care of him. Yeah. Maybe even like a kind of like romantic setting, but we don't know that for sure. That's speculation, but it would be cool. It would be really cool to see that, since they travel together. I mean, they're the closest to each other. Yeah. So we continue the chapter with Sungwoo going out to the mountain to scout out ahead before they let the children go out. And Emma is like, I want to go with you just to like help you scout out. Yeah, she promises not to do anything risky or crazy, so that because like they just last chapter they made the promise that like we're not gonna do anything, we're not gonna stretch our necks out, go the extra mile, because if we die, then there's no one else to take care of the kids, since we're the main benefactors of them. So Sungwoo takes her, and they're scouting out ahead, and he asks her finally, he's just like, why did you really want to come out here? Because he knows it's not to like scout with her, because Sungwoo is very perceptive. He notices things. And Emma tells him that I want you to teach me to take a life. Yeah. And not like a human or a demon life, just like an animal. Like she's never killed an animal before. Yeah, she wants to learn how to hunt, like basically like how do we hunt things in the demon world? Because like, I'm sure she knows about like hunting, because she learned a lot, and she's one of the two smartest people there, so she knows about hunting. But like, there's a very big difference. As someone who has hunted before, there's a very big difference from knowing how to hunt and actually doing it. Yeah. There's a lot more patience. And once you actually kill the animal, you need to know how to like respectively like kill it, and then like how to make the meat, clean it, and everything. That's a very not an easy thing to learn. So and also I want to make a point, like with the dichotomy that we have from like the human world and the demon world, like the way that they hunt in the demon world might be different from what we know as. Well, there also might be different like animals in there. We don't know if the animals are the same as in the human world. So that's also, but it seems like they are, because they're hunting a bird. He teaches them how to hunt a bird. She shoots it down with an arrow, which, mind you, it's hard to hit them with a gun. Yeah, seriously. How in the world does she hit this bird with a bow? One shot too. Like in the page, it shows the bird was flying when she fucking hit it. Like that's crazy. I have trouble hitting birds with a shotgun in the air. How in the world did this girl do it with a bow? Like a simple bow, not even a compound or anything. She just shot it up and hit it. Like, I guess it just shows that she's very good at bow and arrow, I guess. But so she shoots the bird. She hits it kind of lower midsection of its neck, but it's still alive. And so Sun Wu's just like, it was a good shot. Now comes and he calls it the Gupuna,
yeah,
which is the flower from the first few chapters.
So I actually read a little bit closer. Like the Gupuna is like a ceremony that they're about to do, but like the flower is called like the vampire weed. It's called Vita.
Yeah.
So what they do is like they pierce it in the chest with a prey, but like the entire thing is like the ceremony of Gupuna. Mm-hmm. So Gupuna is a ceremony that they do to kind of give thanks to the gods and present it to them, and like if they deem it worthy, then the flower will bloom, and then
the flower. Explain that the flower is vampiric because it sucks the blood out of whatever you stab it into, mm-hmm. and that's what makes the flower grow. Like how most flowers bloom with water, this flower blooms with blood.
Yeah,
and on top of that, it helps clean the wound, not the wound, but the prey out of its blood, which makes it a lot easier it keeps the meat fresher.
Yeah, so he explains all that to her.
That you need to do this, and she's kind of traumatized because she knows the flower, that kid that she saw on the little girl mm-hmm. when she first saw the demons unkill, and also we see a flashback of also what was the other kid's name?
It goes to Connie, Hao, Seti, and then you have a picture of Norman. It's like all the kids that they
know got sent away, and then this flower was put into their chest mm-hmm. after they got killed. But she overcomes that, and then we see a panel of the flower blooming. She stabbed it, and so someone was just like, you got to prepare yourselves. You only have because you got to be able to eat and everything. Mm-hmm. And if you don't eat, they'll die.
Yeah.
Which I like. Which I want to go back to the scene where they show Norman with the flower in his chest, because it never was confirmed before now that he was dead. Which I don't think it still is.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I think it's in her mind.
Yeah, she has the assumption that he's dead.
That he's dead, because we never actually saw it. And in manga or anime, if you don't actually see the body dead, don't ever assume that it's dead. That's in stories, though, in general.
That's a MangaBud tip. Tip number one. If you ever see the body, it's probably not dead. They're probably not.
You mean if you don't see the body?
Yeah, if you don't see the dead body, it's probably not dead. And even if you see the dead body, it's probably unconscious, so just expect that character to live. But
so, always unless they just confirm it in the story or something like that. Mm-hmm. But, so Emma returns back to the cave with them. Ray sees her and it's just like, you're trying to do everything alone again. And she's, like, sorry. And so they go to eat dinner, and tomorrow they're going across the river.
Yeah. So at this point, the chapter's over, but there's another page.
Yeah, this is the part we want to talk about, which was the ending, which is, I guess we assume it's a message mm-hmm. from what me and Ben were talking about, because it starts off with the guy saying, "I am William Minerva. I want to raise the banner of revolution, to make a new promise, to take back the human world, and
finish the Neverland once and for all."
To finish the Neverland, which is cool because me and Ben speculated, I think it was on the last episode, the episode before, that we kind of speculated what the Neverland was. Mm-hmm. We thought it was just a representation of the human world, and how when Emma and them got there, they wouldn't be accepted. But now we know the Neverland is an actual place.
Yeah.
It's an actual, physical place that they can get to. Or at least it's what William Minerva is trying mm-hmm. to create with this new promise that he wants to create. We don't know what it is, but we can just assume. Just this last panel, I think, was the best part of the entire story.
Yeah, definitely. It
a lot of good information came from.
And then so, he says, break out of the plantations and head to the agreed point, and then there, William Minerva will be waiting for you.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for all of you. He even he makes a point to say all of you.
Yeah. I had a thought that I kind of want to talk about for at least for a couple minutes. That he says I'm raising the banner of revolution. So I was thinking that we were talking about this a little bit before. I was thinking that maybe there was a change in rule in the human world, and before that change, they were allowed to send messages to, because maybe they knew about the kids that were stuck in the plantations, the human kids that were stuck in the plantations, and they couldn't directly go and get them, but they were trying to, I guess, subvert the promise and kind of get them through all the photos and pictures and stuff like that. Uh-huh. But maybe that after that change in rule, and that rule found out that they were doing that, they put a stop to that entirely. Uh-huh. And then William Minerva is part of the few group of people that actually want to continue to do that, but they can't do it. They can't do it publicly. They have to do it behind the government.
The scenes, behind illegally.
Yeah.
It seems like originally, like, whoever was the leader of the human world before then was just like, we're trying to get our people out.
Yeah.
But then he was subverted by another group, a very political idealist kind of idea that, like, another group came in and was like, no, we're going to stop this. We're not going to, like, take the risk of breaking the promise.
We're trying to maintain the peace that we had with the demons and not mess that up in any way.
But William and Irv is just like, no, we need to continue helping them. And so that's why. And I thought that maybe it's just that the reason they can't do anything is because they don't have the information of the demon world, because that's not something that's just on hand. So they need the kids on the plantation, because they've been in a plantation. They know how to break out. They've broken out of it. So
and they know the lay of the land, because
they know they're going to know the lay, because to get there they had to have known. So they're waiting for them to come back and give them all that information, so they can set up a rescue plan to go get the rest of the kids, which is good, because that's what Emma and them are trying to do once they get to the human world, is to wait the 2 years out and then go back. I'm still saying, man, I can't wait for the time skip, because it's almost confirmed at this point. There has to be a time skip of 2 years, that then, like, Emma and Ray are going to come back. They're going to be, like, older looking, I hope. Yeah. And they're going to be, like, a lot more knowledgeable of everything. Maybe even, like, leaders or somewhere. Like,
that'd be dope. Like, and, like, they have, like, their own faction of people that they send out, like, they...
Well, they would be the most knowledgeable, so yeah, I'd hope so. Like, they're teaching all the humans, like, they're teaching them exactly what Sungwoo and Music are teaching them right now. So
that's gonna be cool. And, like, again, we just like to say this is one of our favorites new manga series. It's only 49 chapters deep. Like, pick it up. It's really good. Will not.
It's super good to just get into if you have nothing better to do. I think if you've been looking for a good read, we definitely recommend it.
Yes.
But next up is Seven Deadly Sins, chapter 228.
Yes.
It was titled The Goddess and... What was it, Ben?
The Goddess and the Holy Maiden.
The Goddess and the Holy Maiden, which I just want to say now, the chapter makes no sense, and I'll tell you by the end, but the name of the chapter makes no sense.
Yeah.
So the chapter begins with Diane still possessed, which we assume was by...
Melascula.
Emascula.
Yeah, one of the 10 Commandments that they were fighting.
We assume that. So she's attacking the Sins right now with Dolores Dan. She's kind of wrecking them, because at this point they don't want to hurt her, but they want to figure out how are we going to break this spell.
They also have to protect themselves, so it's like, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah, but then Merlin is like, discovers that she isn't being possessed by the commandment, she's being possessed by evil spirits.
Yeah, those evil spirits that were Melascula was using to kind of power up the commandments. Yeah. They're now that they've possessed Diane, like, that's what's causing her.
The souls come from the dead citizens of the town they're in. So before they're about to start their counterattack, King jumps in the way. He's just like, wait, we can't hurt her. This is just a vengeful grudge. If we find a way to talk to her, try it, because he knows he's stronger. But right before he can finish that, Diane just freaking kicks him.
Yeah, he's like, yo, don't stop, Diane, please don't yourself be swayed. You're stronger than this. And then, like, Hellbrum is just like, yo, get back. And then, like, the next panel is just her just kicking the crap.
Yeah, she kicks him into, like, through a rock into another rock. We see that he's got a blood wound on his head, and we find out that if it wasn't for the helmet, the Hellbrum's helmet, that King probably would have lost his head. Yeah. So Diane could have killed him right there. So that's something to think about. And so
she's like laughing. She's like, ha ha ha, and then, like, your boy Escanor shows up. It's like, well, it looks like we're needing more drastic measures. And he shows up, like, he appears, like, right next to her.
He did an old Escanor patch, and then just punches her right in the chest, knocks off the armor in her chest.
So he just,
not her chest, her, like, stomach area. Yeah. Sorry, her stomach area. So he punches her then, but then she punches him right back into the ground. Escanor is so great. He's just like, how brash and bold, and you were completely ignore my kindness. Yeah. Because he says when he punched her in the stomach, he's like, I'm going to punch you in the stomach out of kindness, not to punch you in your face, because we're friends.
Yeah, and because you're a lady. So
he's like, because you're
being a gentleman.
He's kind of looking down on her, though, at the same time. He's just like, because you're a lady, I won't punch you in the face, but I will punch you in the stomach. Yeah.
And, like, when he gets up, he just kind of has his arms crossed. He ate that huge punch. He just, like,
even in the rock, he's just sitting there, like, his hands crossed, like, so this is what we're doing now. Before he gets back up to attack, Hellbrum shows up. He's like, there's no need to fight her with physical force. I'll just invade her mind.
Is that Gowther?
Gowther? Yeah, sorry, Gowther.
Yeah. He shows up, so he invades. He sees what's going on in her mind, and we get a picture of Diane crying, because she's crying because, like, she's such a bad girl. She's putting a lot of guilt on herself, and like,
which we find out that's why she was able to be possessed so easily, because she had all these thoughts still in her head.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I said awful things to Elizabeth because of me. What if all these things I said to Elizabeth and she died? She's gonna feel so bad that that's the last things she said to her.
So she's not mentally and like emotionally, she's not in a very good state. That's why those evil spirits are so easily able to possess her. And then we get a panel of them just turning the water and then like grabbing her and taking over her.
Yeah, the evil spirits take Diane, and Gother tries to get her back, but then he gets kicked out of her mind, and then Diane hits him with her hammer and sends him flying as well.
Mm-hmm. So she's kind of wrecking shop here a little bit, except for on Escanor, but like she got King and got.
I still think Diane's one of the weakest of the sins, but the only reason she's doing this now is because they're just not fighting back. If they fought back with their full power, King could have killed her like instantly. Escanor would have killed her with one hit,
like instant.
So I just assume that's why.
Yeah, they're trying to like, yo, Diane, calm down. Kind of like getting hit. It's like, okay, getting back up. Calm down.
Everyone's just trying to talk to her, but she's just not having any of it. So then, Malascule.
Yeah, Malascule. She's just laughing. It's like, oh, this is awesome. I don't have to do anything, and she's killing her teammates. And then,
so Gother gets back up after being hit. He's just like, I won't let you do whatever you want with her. That's one of my friends. And the spirits of Diane's body just like, oh, we can't do whatever we want with it. So
and she puts the pike, she just like gets the hammer, she gets the pikes out of her weapon. She like jams in the side of her head, and they're just like, stop it. And like Bond tries to snatch it, but
she uses his snatch ability to like try to sap her strength, but she's a giant. She has a lot more strength than I think Bond can handle. And so King starting to regain consciousness, just like trying to tell her to stop. But then Helbram appears from the spirit of his helmet, which, remember, Helbram is still a spirit, so the only people that can see him right now is King and the spirits of Diane. Everyone else, even, it's just like, why is she acting strange?
Like, what's going on?
Who is she talking to?
And then Helbram actually comes out, and he says, like, the person you should kill to release your vengeance is me, because I'm the one who...
Yeah, we find out that all these dead spirits aren't angry because of the demon, the Ten Commandments killed them. It's because Helbram was the one that slaughtered them back to when he went on his human rampage after seeing that they took all of the fairies' wings.
Yeah, so Diane, or like the spirits in Diane, look to grab the helmet, and she's like, you're the fairy, and like they're all saying like, you're the one that killed us, I remember you. And like they're all saying like kill, hate.
So he's about to be like engulfed by the hatred, and not Gother. King's just like, don't go. But Helbram is like, farewell. I'm glad to be your best friend. And then Diane crushes the helmet, which we assume is the spirits taking.
Yeah, effectively killing Helbram. So
killing him for good.
So that's a long-time character in the series, like that got axed.
It was a pretty important part. I mean, he's main reason of King's backstory. He's the reason King got his sin was because of he had to go get Helbram back, which caused the fairy forest to be burned down.
And caused Elaine to be like pretty much everything that happened to Elaine and Bond to happen. Like the demon coming in.
It's cool how everything intertwines in itself. But so that happens, but we find out that the spirits haven't actually left Diane's body. There's still a few lingering. They're just like, this isn't enough to fulfill my vengeance. I want revenge. But before they're able to start rampaging again, we see magic go through. I think it was called the Gold Wind's Imperial Wrath.
Yeah, so it kind of like freezes Diane for a second, kind of stumbles her, which is
Elaine's magic, Imperial Wrath. And then we see the text say, "Let there be light," and we see Diane get like. It's pierced. She gets pierced through the chest, but it's not like an actual weapon. It's more just like
magic, energy, kind of like piercing
energy magic. And we find out that it was Elizabeth using her goddess magic because goddess magic is the ability to cleanse a soul.
Yeah.
So they were able to get rid of all of
it gets rid of all of it and like makes it all disintegrate. And then Diane's back. She's like, "Why'd you come here?" She's like obviously crying and she's damaged. She's like, "Why'd you come here for the sake of someone like me?" And then you have Elizabeth with both her eyes activated, and she says, "Because you're my friend, you're my precious friend."
Yeah, and I want to go back now that we're at the end. I want to go to the point of the chapter that was called "The Goddess and the Holy Maiden." Was it?
Yeah.
And it was just like, why was the chapter named that when literally Elizabeth and Elaine show up at the very end of the chapter?
Yeah, that I guess.
I mean, granted, they did end the conflict like we assumed they would. We called it last chapter that they would be the ones that would ultimately stop it. But still, it's like they showed up at the very end. They did one thing, but they get the whole chapter name. I feel like the chapter should have been named something more focused around Hellbroom.
Yeah, like
he was the main star. He was the reason. He was the one that kind of helped satiate all the vengeful spirits.
Yeah, so he should have been called like something like Goodbye Best Friend or something like that.
Yeah. Or just Goodbye would have been just good. Just something like nice and poetic, but it's whatever. So that's the end of the chapter.
It was a good. I thought that this chapter, it wasn't as eventful as like all the other ones have been. But like, you have, of course, like I don't say like as eventful. I mean like Hellbroom's dead, and then you have Elizabeth coming back.
Elizabeth's fully conscious. She knows how to use her magic, like I'm assuming like it's full extent now.
Are you leaving me?
Kohaku, Senku, and Chrome still trying to fish out the iron sand out of the river. They're falling down a waterfall. You see Senku has a parachute. Chrome is just riding down on a log.
Kohaku is just like gracefully navigating
just
the
falls
rocks
down the rock and
nice.
is still picking up the sand. And she notices Senku and Chrome lying down, making the observation that she's a lioness, a gorilla.
She's really graceful, really good. And like Chrome's just like
she's always been like a gorilla, a very graceful gorilla. And
it's like, who are you calling?
Kohaku's like, who are you calling a gorilla? And she gets all mad. We get this cool like Attack on Titan face where she's like, why don't you lazy bums get off your ass and help me pick up some sand too?
Yeah.
And it's like, we're sorry.
And she just like kind of beats Chrome over the head several times.
Yeah, she's not gonna do it with Senku because she doesn't know him that well, obviously.
Yeah, she knows Chrome.
So then Senku notices a watermelon floating down the river and he's like, what is this doing here? And we find out that it's actually a little girl who wears like an open watermelon over her head. And her name is Suika.
Yeah, which is a Japanese translation for watermelon, but they're going to keep it short because it'd take too much space.
Yeah, I feel like it'd take way too much space on the bubble text. So Suika's been helping them pick up sand without beheads their knowledge. And Chrome's just like, you stole this magnet from my workshop. And Suika goes on this monologue about,
she's like, I just want to
help people. I'm always so useless. Whenever someone needs help, I'm always there. And Senku makes the funny point. She's like, stop monologuing.
Yeah, she's like,
the Kingdom of Science always takes new people. We don't care at all. And Suika has like this blushing moment where she's just like, no one's ever like not asked why I wear this watermelon on my head. You're the first person, I want to pick up as much sand as I can to help you.
And you made the point earlier, or before, whenever we were discussing this before, that you like that Senku kind of stopped the monologuing because she was just like, she was about to go on like their whole spiel, like, oh, this is.
She was about to like give away her entire like character like bio, and it's just like in stories you see that a lot. Like instead of like showing us, and they tell us instead of showing us and telling us, and it's just better. Like it would have been. I think the most convenient way to do her character would just her show up and just be like, "Who are you? Oh, I'm Suika. I just like to help people whenever they're in need," and then build on her character as a story. It just gives her like you're able to stretch her out more. Yeah. Instead of giving us the entire thing right away.
Yes. But I like like you said, like you like that Senku stopped that like before it got crazy.
Like it's like the author noticing, he's just like, stop monologuing. I don't need to know your entire story. Just help us pick up the sand. Yeah. And so they continue. So then Suika. Well, before that, Kohaku and Chrome are just like. Because Suika got so blushed over.
She's like, I'm gonna get tons of black sand. She's really enthusiastic, and she's getting like she's swimming up and down the river like with her head bobbing open. And then like they mention like, what are you, Momotaro? Don't drown. And then Senku's just like, wait, how you guys not know Monster Hunter or Dragon Quest, but you know the story of Momotaro?
Which is just for y'all that know, Momotaro is an old Japanese story about a boy that fell down to earth from a giant peach. So the mother that found him called him Peach Boy,
which is a translation from Momotaro.
And then the village gets attacked by a bunch of Onis or demons, and Momotaro goes to like fight them off. And on the way, he gets befriended by a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant, who then help him defeat the evil demons. And he returns to the village, which is cool because you see this story in a lot of other mangas, like Boy falling from the sky in a peach is Dragon Ball. Yeah, Goku fell to the earth from a giant thing, but he's more akin to the monkey god Son Goku than anything else.
But like you can see it pulled, and then like One Piece, you have like the three admirals, like Aokiji means blue pheasant, Akainu means red dog, and Kizaru means yellow monkey. Yeah. So like that's basically pulled out from Momotaro.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, we get to see a cool like this is like everywhere in manga
Yeah,
culture.
it's very inspirational in Japanese culture.
And so he just like, how do y'all know the story of Momotaro? But then Senku's just like, also, how did y'all know what a gorilla was? Like, are there gorillas in this world? And Chrome and Kohaku are just like, no, I've actually never seen one.
Yeah.
But Sister Riri always tells us stories about them
in Momotaro.
And Senku's just like, when did Momotaro become a jungle war story about like gorillas, crocodiles, and lions?
Yeah. And you get like a Fist of the North Star because like there was a bunch of dangerous things, dangerous animals in that, so like kind of makes that parallel as well. So it's like it's kind of funny.
You make the comment that like the character, because there's a panel that shows like the Momotaro with like this big buffly man. It's from a other manga, Fist of the North Star, and it's just cool. The art, they're like drawing some inspiration from that. Yeah. It's not pulled from it, just a cool drawing. But he goes to that. He's like, when did this become like this? And Kohaku's like, yeah, Sister Riri tells us these stories all the time. And then
Senku makes the note that like she tells that to them, but adds all these like
dangerous
lines.
Animals so they can identify them if they ever come across them. Like keep away. These animals can kill you right away. So it seems to like let on that Riri knows she knows about the real world. Like how does she know about these things? So. That's when Senku is just like, she's become a lot more interested. I need to hurry up and make this antibiotic so that I can figure out what's up with her.
It's kind of what she knows about the world.
Yeah. So. And then, well, before that, I wanted to make the observation that we want to talk about that how she might know. Because I don't think that she's personally from Senku's time. Because I don't think she's from the normal world. Because she has a father who's a villager and her sister. They've been there for... ever since the 3,700 years. So I think it's books. If I had to guess, it probably is like something funny. Maybe it's even like a dictionary.
Yeah.
She like just found a dictionary. She just saw all these words. And maybe she just has like a bunch of books from the modern world that she's been reading and observing. She sees all these dangerous things. So
yeah, I just thought of something like maybe she went out with with a hunter gatherer group, and like she went and found books. And she found a bunch of literature and she brought it back and she was reading it. But when she went there, maybe she caught the disease that she has.
Maybe.
So that's just like
her backstory will be very important. I think to her. I think that'll be really interesting to see. And that's why she's the priestess, because she knows so much. Yeah. Because of her knowledge of everything. And so after Senku makes the note that like, oh, she's super interesting, I want to help her. Chrome kind of with his jealousy is just like, what do you mean you're interested in her? Like, I thought we were just trying to help her. Like, what do you have with Riri? And we all know Senku has no like feelings for like love or affection or anyone else. And that's when Kohaku's just like, Chrome, can I like talk to you?
No,
Senku, can you come over here for a minute so I can talk to you about something? And Senku's like, what is it? And she's just like, Chrome really likes Riri. It's kind of cute. It's like a little.
He's like, I should have seen this.
He's like, I should have noticed these things happening. It's like, it's kind of cute. Yeah. It's like a little kid, like with a big crush, and Chrome is just like, "Who are you calling a little kid?"
Yeah, it's like, "What are y'all talking about?" And
don't talk behind my back. And so they return to the village with their sand, but Gold Wolf and Silver Wolf,
they're blocking their way. It's like, I told you not to step in the village.
Gold Wolf stops them with Silver Wolf behind him, just like, man, that gold spear is still so cool. He's still so obsessed about that. And Wolf's like, I'm still not letting you in the village, but Chrome's just like, we're going to like make a cure-all with science to help Riri, so get out of the way.
We're going to start with this iron.
Which they get out of the way. And so the Age of Iron begins, Senku states. But they have to, the way to like turn the iron sand into actual iron, they need, it's 4 parts iron to 1 part charcoal. Yeah. But to like get it to like solidify into a solid state, they need to heat up a furnace to 1500 degrees.
Yeah, and then he makes a point, and then Chrome's just like, "Oh, that's easy. We just gotta put some fire into it, and we'll be good." And then Chrome makes a point like, "Yeah, it won't be easy because like."
No, Senku makes a point.
Yeah, Senku makes the point that like the regular fire only reaches temperatures to 700 degrees. Where to melt iron, we need 1500 degrees.
So it's more than like double it. So yeah, there's already a big gap between how they're going to make it. So he makes a furnace. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they made this furnace. That looks like a lot harder to make than it is. So they make it and they're just like, so how are we going to, heat this metal up? So like, there's 4 entrances. They just have to keep pumping air into the fire to heat it up. Yeah. But so they're just like, so how are we going to do this? Chrome, Senku gives them all these fire blowers. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a chimney pusher. It's like those are like it almost looks like a bagpipe, but with handles that you just push forward and it just puffs air out over and over again.
So they're trying to like pump as much oxygen into the fire.
Yeah, they have to pump it to the next panel. We see all of them like furiously pumping oxygen because it's not like a casual thing. They have to like do it like super fast just to keep the temperature at like a hot enough degree.
Like their faces, they're all just like
they're like
150%.
Chrome makes it like my arms are throbbing but numb at the exact same time. So he's like, we have to keep going. And it's just like, and I don't know, I remember who said it. I think it was Suika. It's just like, so how long do we need to keep this up? And Senku just all nonchalantly, at least another 2 days.
Yeah, it's like ironworking is insane. And I was like, oh my god,
is insane. And then Suika gives out because her little arms just can't handle it anymore. And so the original plan fails. They can't possibly like keep it up before that. But then we see Silver and Gold.
They're just like, yo, it looks like they're doing something really cool.
Silver Wolf is just like, I want to go help them.
And then like Gold Wolf, because like Gold Wolf is like, Stickler got a stick up his butt and really about the rules. Like, don't go. Rules are rules. You can't abandon your
post. And it's just like, come on, man. They already made you the golden spear. So I was hoping, he still wants.
Yeah, he still wants a silver spear. Yeah. And he's like, I thought you were like
Gold Wolf is just so surprised. He's just like, I thought you were better than this. How can you be so chummy with them just for a silver spear?
And he's like, okay, cool. Then let's change spears. And like Gold Wolf's like, no.
And it's like, he won't give him his spear.
It's like, it may not be silver, but like I can make do with gold. It's like, give me your spear. It's like, no. He's like,
he just won't give up his cool spear. So the next panel, we get back away from them, back to the main group, and they're all on the floor crying. Basically, everyone's laying out. Kohaku's in the fetal position. And so they break open the furnace to see that the sand is still sand. They didn't pump it enough.
Yeah, so there's
like, so Senku's like, our next priority is manpower. Like we don't have enough people to help us. We need like enough people so they can take shifts blowing air into it.
And then like it shows a panel where like Silver Wolf is just sitting there like he's asleep.
He's in the fetal position. He's asleep?
Yeah.
No, he's not. Oh yeah, he is asleep. You're right.
And he's like muttering like Silver Lance. I want my Silver Lance.
He really wants to. They're just like, we can already get him in there. We just make him a Silver Lance.
And then Chrome just makes the point. He's like, yeah, entice them one by one with our science base. So like the plan that they're gonna go for is like kind of see what the village needs, and then like meet that need with science.
But they can't get into the village because Gold Wolf won't let them in.
Yeah.
So Suika comes up with the idea. I can hide myself inside this watermelon shell on my head, and that's like her main that's what she's good at. She's good at spying on people.
Yeah.
And so the next chapter kind of like, this is the end, but the next chapter kind of leads on that Suika's going to go into the village, get all this information, and Chrome and them are going to Chrome and Senku and all them are going to start making things for the villagers so that way they'll join their kingdom of science.
It makes make their life a little bit easier with science and like win them over to the
just win them over with little things. So that was Dr. Stone. Really, really good chapter. I love this series.
Dude, honestly, yeah, it was like you get a lot of information, but like it's also like really fun because like it
just has a very like carefree vibe, but it's also very serious, which is good and bad because it kind of forgets that the looming threat is still what's his name?
Tsukasa
and his army of just killers is still on the way.
Yeah, but it's good. Like it pulls you into the story with that humor and like
it makes the characters more likable.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't take the story for being like super science based, like everything. It's very intelligent. It also doesn't take itself super seriously.
Yeah, which I appreciate that a lot.
I think it works really well. Like I hope eventually. I know it won't happen now because there's just not enough chapters to animate it yet. But when this gets animated, I think it'll be really good. Cause
definitely.
Most stories don't get animated till like they at least have like 70 or so chapters. So I mean, this is still on 20. So we probably still have like another year left of Dr. Stone before. Just how popular this is getting now, because even the writers themselves are just like, because of our rise in popularity.
Yeah.
The next week they're going to give us a color spread and everything and a little side stories, so that'll be cool to see. But like, I'm assuming Shonen Jump will eventually pick this up.
Oh, they better.
I think they will. Just the way it's drawn and how likable it's starting to get, because they did it with My Hero, and My Hero was a very small thing at first.
It exploded.
And it's been such a big thing. So they're probably going to take more risk, especially with Fairy Tail ending now, so they need another person to take that place.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be Dr. Stone. I hope it's Dr. Stone.
It's either Dr. Stone or Promised Neverland.
Yeah,
Promised Neverland's about to get to that thresh point where they have enough chapters so they can start animating it and still like be able to keep up with the workload.
Yeah,
because they're about to be at 50, so probably another few months.
Yeah.
Of Promised Neverland, but by then I hope that they're in the human world.
Yeah, that's cool.
But we're getting off topic.
And it was a good chapter. Really good. Gets us looking forward to how they're gonna.
Who all they're gonna meet. The next few characters are gonna be introduced into the kingdom of science.
Yeah, and then how they're gonna meet the needs of the villagers that whose intel that Suika gets. So it's gonna be fun. If you haven't picked it up again, pick it up. Manga Stream's our source.
Manga Stream is the source. You can probably find it anywhere else, but if you want to know ours, it's Manga Stream.
Yeah,
always good translations, nice pictures. And also they do fan art in between.
Yeah, which is like
the pages, so it's always cool to see that. But
great.
So after this video, me and Ben, since there's no One Piece chapter, we were going to do a discussion about our most adult which we would like to have in our stories. So if you want to check that out, I'll link the video down below this one. So, all right, that's the end of week 4 of MangaBuds. We appreciate all of y'all for tuning in.
Thank you guys for coming. Sorry about the interruptions.
We've been having some trouble with our workspace. We're still getting used to it, but we hope y'all still enjoy the story, and we hope to see you next time.
See you guys.